that is, but it's good to see you. It's odd that the only way we get to visit these days is on screen, but we're going to take care of that soon. All right, let's get going. Hey, everybody, my name's Aaron Fisher. I'm here today with Alex Slemmer, Scott Hamill, Steve Barcelona, and we're going to also be joined by our special guest in just a moment, Mark Clearview, today from Conjuror Community, the world's best magic club. So as we get going here, make sure to tap that fantabulous follow button and that hellacious subscribe button so you'll be notified when we go live with a new show. Scott, have you had a little preview of what we're going to do today with Mark?
I have, yes. It's a fantastic show. I'm very excited that he's continuing on with it. And yeah.
To let everybody know, today we're going to be learning about this whole year of Zoom shows with Mark Clearview. He's been really deep into the whole Zoom show experience, and today he's going to pop online any moment now, and he's going to start to share with us everything he's learned. Well, look at that. Here he is now. Hello, Mark. You're on, buddy. Say hello. Oh, and if you want, unmute one of your microphones even.
Oh, there we go. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go over how to do a Zoom show and make sure all your tech's working. I wish you could hear what I had said too, because I was just bad mouthing everybody.
Lesson number one: if the mic is off,
So, I mean, we'll talk about that, but I'm running it through OBS, which is a third-party software. That mic was muted. My Zoom mic was open, and that's something that only happens to me at least once every show. So we're good. We're learning.
We know just how it feels. We've had to suffer through some of those learning curves, and just like everything in real life, a big key is not letting everybody know you've been thrown off your entrance, right?
Exactly. That was planned.
Mm-hmm. Why don't you start at the beginning, Mark? We're excited to have you here, and we'll never have enough time to get all the information we want out of you, so we might as well just launch in. Does it all get going for you with the tech stuff so you can crawl through all that and get back to the magic? How does it work?
I thought you wanted me to start with when I was born, but I guess we'll go into this. I'm going to show my virtual setup and so everyone knows what I'm working with. And before I do that, I'll just walk you through how it looks if you're watching my show. So this is what I'm doing for corporate work and for public ticketed shows right now, is this exact setup, which I'm running through a third-party software called OBS, which is open broadcasting software, which is free. And I have 3 cameras set up for this main view so people can see the whole show. And this would be like your most classic magic show view. I have a close-up when I'm showing people cards and stuff that they should be thinking about, or if I'm working with one person one-on-one. Then I have a hand camera, which is when I'm doing stuff on the table here, so people can see my hands and they can also see my face at the same time. So that's the main setup that I have. I'll show you what it looks like from the other angle. It looks like this. We don't mind spotlighting other Mark Clearview so people can see what I'm looking at. But this is everything in front of me on the table. I have my laptop set up, so I have Zoom on the top screen and OBS on the bottom. I obviously have a wired internet connection, super important, and 2 cameras, the hand camera in the top in the ring light, and this Black Magic Pocket Cinema is what it's called, camera running into a couple adapters. And so it's pretty simple. It's 1, 2, 3 all in front of me. I don't have any cameras off angle or anything. We can go back to regular Mark now. I'll stop this video. And that's what I see in front of me. I'm able to manipulate, go through different screens. And I think it really helps for feeling like you're watching a produced, more like an interactive TV show than watching like somebody just performing their stage show into their webcam, which is not as interactive.
So let me ask, so I imagine the shot that you had where you were working with somebody, you had that kind of an upshot. That's the camera on your laptop, right?
Correct. That's just camera web.
Yeah, that's just the camera on your laptop. And that looks pretty good. I mean, it's all down in the lighting, right? But what are those other 2 cameras? Like, what cameras are they?
Yeah, so the main one that you're seeing right now is called the Black Magic Pocket Cinema, which doesn't mean anything. Basically, it's a 4K. It actually can shoot up to 6K, but we're in 4K right now camera, which means that if I want to zoom in digitally, I don't lose any fidelity as we're going in. And then the top one is just a Canon EOS, like a DSLR camera, which and you can get pretty simply. And Canon has a driver that you can download, which turns your camera into a webcam.
Right.
This other one,
that's
Scott,
why the shot looks so good.
Right. Yeah. They're like proper cameras. They're not webcams plugged in, which you could do. That would be fine.
Yeah.
But I'm running it out of the HDMI port, and then there's an adapter hardware here, and this one's running through an adapter software. So it's a bunch of just like tentacles shoved into my computer, which I'm trying to make work. But
I don't want to belabor the point, but why it's important, I think, is when you put a good picture on there and good audio, it implies value. So like you can actually charge for something if it looks good and sounds good, and like you were saying, looks produced. So
totally,
great job there.
Thank you. In classic Mark fashion, I was on the phone with a corporate client who said, we want a virtual show. A lot of people are doing it now, and this was probably in September when I think people actually came around to the idea that that would be a fun thing and not just a weird webcam experience. And I said, yeah, I have a produced show with multiple cameras set up and a hardwired connection and pre-recorded video, and I didn't have any of that at the time. And then I got booked and was like, okay, now to figure all that out. And as Scott can tell you as well, it is an absolute learning curve and nightmare to try to work in the tech virtual world, because we're magicians, we're not tech guys.
Well, yeah, one thing that I've heard a lot, like looking back at my last year, speeches started at like 60 minutes and then clients wanted 45 and then 30. And it's like this Zoom fatigue everyone talks about. And one of the reasons that I think people like Mark are not getting customers and clients saying, oh, our people felt like that was kind of long, is because he's got this dynamic show with multiple camera angles. Because when have you ever watched TV, even if it's educational programming and it's just one static shot? It rarely ever is. Even if it's a documentary long form, it's still got some cutaways and things like that. So Mark's show is really, it moves, it paces out in a really nice way with like a nice change up, and it keeps the audience, like you said, feeling like they're watching a produced show instead of just a Zoom talking head.
Totally. Yeah, I had to stop thinking about it as a magician doing a show, because I'm more of a producer at this point, running multiple camera setups and making it interactive and interesting for people at home. When I hated virtual shows at the beginning, because I was like, I can't interact with anyone. I'm a comedian. I like to be funny. I can't hear anyone interact. And now I get people to drop ones in the chat, obviously, is the answer to that. But to like actually want to feel interested in what I'm doing, I wanted it to look visually interesting. So I've just shifted my mind frame into like, oh, okay, can I show you all how I actually start my show?
Absolutely.
Let's do that. So there would be like a pre-show screen, which is, it says something for my show, which you won't understand unless you come to one of the live shows, but it's the pre-show screen. And then this is how the show would begin when it's time. Sorry, one sec. Nah. Hi, I'm Mark Clearview, and welcome to Try This at Home. You are the virtual audience. If you're so excited to be here, please tell me so in the chat. Say heck yeah or some other exclamation. And I'll ask the question we're all wondering. How can you do magic virtually? Well, magic happens up here. So rather than doing any actual magic, all I have to do is make you think you're seeing actual magic. And through a little subtle manipulation, you'll swear that you are. Just the same way you'd swear that I'm really here talking to you right now on your screen. But I'm not. It's not the real me. I'm not real. Real. I'm virtual. I'm a robot. In fact, I'm not even here. And I go, hi, this is the real me. That was just virtual Mark, which I think nicely sets up the fact that this is a weird realm and you can't really, I know that you can't trust what's going on and whether the angles are real or not. So it just gets that out of the way at the beginning.
That's pretty
Fun.
awesome.
That's pretty.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
I
Yeah.
think- can you help everyone watching understand the difference between doing your show on Zoom and using something like OBX?
Yes. And somebody actually said something which is interesting, but I do final reveals in my show. So I want to do magic for the medium. Before I was just doing exactly what I was doing on stage, my exact comedy into my webcam. Talked about why that didn't work a little bit. Then I was like, I have a unique opportunity to do magic that I wouldn't be able to anywhere else. So the way I begin my show right after that is I say, you're wondering how magic is possible virtually. How can you fool me? Or how can I find something in my hands at home? Or how can you read my mind through the screen? And I say, magic's gonna happen virtually in one of three ways. One, there will be things on screen which you swear that you can see, which are not actually there. They're in the virtual realm. For example, this deck of cards. You would swear there's a deck of cards in front of him, but no, there's nothing. There's no deck of cards on the table. The deck of cards has been in my pocket the entire time, obviously. The second way is that there's things on screen that you cannot see, which are actually there. They're just in the virtual realm. For example, you might not have noticed the bottle of wine, which is sitting on top of my deck of cards. It's because it's in the virtual realm. And my apologies, because right before the show, this ran out of flint, so it's not gonna light this way. So I have to do something that you should not do with a Zippo lighter and light it with a match instead. I'll explain why in a second. Okay, here we go. Very professional. Perfect.
Nice.
I would say it's in the virtual realm. You can't see it without a little bit of tissue paper, but that would be the bottle of wine. Been sitting there the entire time, but now you can probably see it a little bit easier. And then the third way would be to psychologically manipulate you, to use your mind to make the magic happen. You might be thinking, how can you manipulate me through the screen? And I will do that with the oldest virtual choice. It's a 50-50 choice. And it dates back to the Matrix, and it is the old red pill or blue pill choice. And so since we're in the virtual realm, I'll have somebody name either the red pill or the blue pill. And I do this little, which one do you want to pick? Do you want red or blue? Let me tell you which one I'm trying to influence you to pick. It's supposed to be the red one because I'm holding it quite a bit farther in front of the blue one. So it appears quite a bit bigger. And not only that, it is printed much bigger on the card. So when you take a look, you can see the red pill is much larger. Now that you know that I'm trying to manipulate you to pick the red pill, Scott, which pill do you want?
Gotta go red.
You're gonna go with red anyway.
I am.
Well, I knew that, and I said at the very beginning that there's things on screen which you can't see but are actually there, and that would be my prediction inside the envelope, which says you will choose the red pill. You dummy! That's so obvious. Nothing in here. That's empty. Thank you so much for coming to the show. That's the introduction, exactly the way that I do it in my show, basically. And that's three things that will not work live. And like the vanishing deck, I can't do that on stage for maybe obvious reasons, but there's an angle problem. Maybe for the same obvious reasons, I can't make this appear in the same way in front of an audience, which I've decided to see as my advantage. I have a hole to not expose too much well right here, which I can use to make the magic possible. And so why would I not do that? And then since we're in a virtual realm, I thought the Matrix, red pill, blue pill, that's just a, like a mind control thing where I have an out for either version, but that's all. If you were here watching the show, it would not look the same as if you're experiencing it through the virtual realm. Does that make sense?
I came to see you do the show, and when you did the red pill, blue pill, there was a girl that needed to come up and do it again because she's like, I wanted to know what happened if I chose the other pill. And she was at the show the night before. That's how strong that trick was playing. Like people were coming back to like try to figure out how you did the red pill, blue pill.
Totally. And it's such a small, exactly. It's such a small, easy thing, but yeah, a lot of people came again the second night, which ended up being a problem I didn't foresee because people would come up and I would say, have we ever met before? And they went, yeah, I was here yesterday. I'm here to figure out this pill trick. They, okay, we'll send you back into the virtual audience. We'll pick someone else. So funny.
Quick question from member Brian. Do you like to do it informally like you're doing right now? Is this how the show is set up and works, or do you have some kind of more traditionally formal green table thing going on?
The way that look, like how the setup, or
Yeah.
actually how I'm talking it, the setup.
Yeah. Just the physical reality of it.
Oh yeah, no, it's exactly like this. Got it. Physical reality. I'm on my couch. I even say to them, which I think is nice because they're in their living room on their couch, or in their office as well. So I'm here making my living room look as nice as it can. Basically, I have my bottle of wine. I have my deck. This is set up, and this is the space that I have to work with in my house also, because that's kind of the reality, is I'm performing from my place. So I tell them I'm on my couch coming into your couch, and my show is called Try This at Home, for obvious reasons, because we do things where they actually get to try it and it works out at home, and we're all at home. So I think it gives it that nice feel.
I tend to agree with you, my friend. I think especially with close-up magic, the more it looks like you're just hanging out, the better it is, right?
Totally. I've seen magicians set up, which like they have the curtains, or they're standing and they're actually performing. I know Scott does his whole show mostly like, well, you have it sectioned at the table as well, but you're in a studio, but you should be making use of your studio space. That's what you have. So to make it feel like a studio show that you're experiencing virtually makes sense. I'm in my living room. It should feel like a hangout, jam, close-up show in my living room.
Yeah, and there are definitely times for me when the style of the show is more conducive to like Mark style, and I've also got multiple cameras, and I'll set them to make it feel like it's in my house instead of in my studio, because like you say, that feeling of warmth and come hang out, cool stuff is about to happen, instead of like, oh, this show is about to happen. You can be flexible there. So
You know what I think is great about what you were saying there, Mark, about you're coming from your living room. It's like you're just performing from where you are, right? I mean, it would be so much harder to try and make it be something else,
Totally.
And so I think it's a smart choice. Let's start where you are and do the best thing you can do themed around that. I think the opening I thought was great.
Thank you. Yeah, it's exactly what you're saying. This is what we're working with now. Somebody just talked about my suit. Thanks. The other one's actually at the cleaners. So this is the B suit. But I like the idea of like, I'm in a suit, I'm ready to perform a show, but I am in my living. It's exactly what you just said. The reality is what the reality is, which is why I do my intro that way. And I say what I say off the bat. So people are like, okay, there's a bit of a buy-in that you don't have to do when you step on stage. And
right.
And you also have a really soft landing going into the thing. You have that pre-show that's going on where there's like sort of weird questions that are coming through. Plus you have comedy. I don't want to say anything about it because I'll just say I was laughing for an hour before the show started, and you're getting soft. You're opening for yourself. It's like a really soft landing into what is the Mark show. I think it was really, really wonderful.
Thank you so much. Scott doesn't like my pre-show.
It was a surprise. We started it because my wife and I sat down to watch the show, and we just started the feed, and we didn't expect it, and we just hear it coming from the office. I'm like, what is that? And then I just start listening, and then I just start giggling incessantly for, like I said, for like an hour straight. So it was really funny, and I don't want to say anything else about it because go see Mark and see the show because you're going to just giggle. It's too fun.
That reminds me, while we have this moment, we'll do a little shameless plug for Mark's next show. Ethan, if you throw up the page and the link, just so you know, everybody, Mark's got a show coming up. What is it, March 24th?
27th and 28th, because the 24th, I believe, is passed. But that would be a good trick. But the 27th and 28th, it's this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and it features a magician, Nick Wallace, who is on Penn and Teller Fool Us. He fooled them and America's Got Talent. So I'm trying to feature acts. Yes?
No, I was just pointing that out. Go ahead, keep talking.
Yeah, there it is. There's me and Nick, and it says free virtual magic show because it is pay what you can. And I thought, given the pandemic times, I wanted to be doing a show which was accessible to people. So if you do come, please don't feel any pressure to give me millions of dollars. Just come what you can afford and just come watch the show, because I think you'll be able to see a lot of this in a more practical setting. And I would love to see you all there. It's fun. It has Nick on it, who's really great. It is interactive, and you'll see how certain things again couldn't work if I was in real life, but I'm not. I'm a robot. So. Oh, sorry. Can I say one more thing? I can say a couple more things, I'm sure, but I wanted to say when Scott and I, we've talked a lot about doing virtual shows. That's why I keep talking to him, because it's such a new thing. It's good to have a partner to, you know, bounce things off of and work with, which I'm happy to do with anyone who has questions after this as well. If you're planning on doing shows virtually or even doing a trick virtually for somebody, that's how we're all connecting these days. So how do you do that, and what are the right things to say? Things go wrong. There's always tech issues. I could see like even my video was sputtering a bit at one point. I do everything that I can to try to make sure everything runs smoothly. This is still a computer and a machine, and it's prone to accidents and things not working correctly. So I have a specific video. I have a couple videos which I can go to. And I also have somebody who's running my show, and I'm doing bigger shows. Like when you come to my show this weekend, if you're coming, you'll be able to see that there is a tech person who spotlights people and brings them on stage, like it's happening right now, who controls some of the before, pre-show, and post-show stuff. And they have a copy of this video as well, which they can go to if all of a sudden I disappear. So people can watch something, or like if my mic goes out, I can go to it as well. We both have a copy as kind of the, you know, the plan B if something goes wrong. I'll show you one of them if it's a quick thing. And you'll see this is an old classic trick, which I'm sure a lot of you know works really well in a virtual setting when a lot of people are watching a show. So this is that. Here I have 5 playing cards, 5 different playing cards. I need you to think of one of these cards. Just get one in your mind. Got it? Great. Good. And if you didn't think of one, don't worry. It's not a job interview. It's a little magic trick. Doesn't matter. Now think of your card. Oh, okay. If I'm right, you should be thinking of this one, which means I should have removed it. Did I get it? There it is. So it's the princess
nice.
card. Yeah, it works for
It's
everyone.
a nice thing to have. It looks good, and if you go to it, you know, before anything too bad happens, it looks like you did it on purpose.
Totally. Exactly. I've used it many a time when like my flint runs out of my lighter and I need to go run and get a matchbook, like happened.
Or you got to pee.
And just for you all that are looking to exploit some of these ideas Mark's giving you, you know, you could do a very similar blow off as Mark did with that red and blue pill trick. You've got a real opportunity there to go ahead and produce that card and have it be clean. Mark, did you find that it works best with 2 items?
I could do it with 3 items. I just found the way I'm starting my show and wanting it to be quick, it's a 50-50. So what I do is actually, it's a 50-50 choice. And then I go, well, that was simple. 50-50, 50-50 shot. Now let's do a 1 in 52 shot. And I go into the next card trick. So I wanted it to be one or the other. And I like red pill, blue pill because of the matrix and the plugin.
You know, folks, we were just talking a little bit about why Mark was saying he chooses to sit at his couch and have this real life normal set. And, you know, it reminds me of Cyril. Some of the tricks you were doing remind me a little bit of sort of what we might call today the TV magic, the Zoom type magic Cyril was doing, which is the fact is it's a set. There's no bottom to the stage, as Mark already told you. You can't see his feet. You can't see his legs. He's got some stuff going for him that you don't have going for you in regular life. The normal wisdom on television and in Zoom, I would say, is go over the top as far as you can to create the idea that it's not a set. Make it feel as normal as it possibly can feel, because there is a big lie there. And the big lie is that, you know, there's a coffee table below him and the floor, and there's nothing happening down there that concerns anybody, right? Since that's the case, it's important to take everybody as far as you can in the other direction. And that's why so much attention is being put into making it feel like it's just a living room, right? It's a normal living room. Not to mention close-up plays better that way.
Totally.
Mark, does that make sense to you?
It's such a good point. to make it feel such a good point. It just feels so nothing. It's a couch. And I want to, I'm not going to show you now, but at some point, it's just a very funny picture what I'm looking at right now. It is not a normal floor. There's a lot of things happening for different tricks in my show. And the things that I can see, that's kind of my show. The things that I can see is very different than what you can see. Which I can show you right now. This is like a moment right out of my show, but I won't walk through the whole trick. I think it will belabor it a bit, but I do an Equivocate routine where there's rock glasses and highball glasses. There's clear spirits and dark spirits. And basically we get down to, I want to see right now, actually, if I was to tell everyone to like say something that you would decorate a cocktail with, which you couldn't eat, that's not edible, what would people say? Like if I said, what would you, like decorative garnish for a cocktail, what would people, oh, an umbrella, great. So there's things where I call out to the audience, give me a few garnishes for a cocktail, give me a few, and there's a little bit of actual subtle manipulation and fingers crossing, and there's a little bit of risk in this Equivocate routine that I do. But what happens is we get a cocktail down to basically a rock glass, which I do this gag where, Steve, I'm gonna pour out some whiskey and just say stop somewhere.
Stop.
Wow, that's a lot. Great. Usually people do a little slug, but you let that pour. I liked it. It's like halfway. And just I go, it's way too high now. Thanks, Steve. And I keep saying that as we go. A rock glass, which is filled way too high. Thanks, Steve, with whiskey. And it's obviously whatever. I just do this until it's the classic. I'm already pouring. I say stop. I make a face. And no matter what you do, it's going to be poured too high. Anyway, we make this cocktail, which has an umbrella in it. And we go through Equivocate and I say, that's the cocktail we have. It could have been this, this, and this. And then I say, calling back to the beginning of the show, remember, I said at the very beginning, there would be things that were on screen which you could not see, but are actually there. And the cocktail that you just made has been sitting on screen the whole time. You just can't see it yet. And then I do this reveal where the cocktail that they made is sitting behind the bottle. And I can show them that, yeah, it has the lime garnish, it has the umbrella, which you named first, and all those things. And that's a really nice way to, I can see that the whole time. It's there. I'm trying to avoid it behind the bottle. And I'll just say I placed it during the pre-recorded video, obviously. So there's things in tech which help me make the magic possible. But I can't do that on stage. That's a forced perspective thing. And then the second reveal, which I won't show you what the reveal is for in the show, but I'll show you what the reveal itself looks like. Somebody actually mentioned it because I think probably one of my camera angles is off. But then I say there's things on screen which you can see which aren't actually there. For example, this is not a real Rubik's Cube. Been there all the time.
How does that work? No, I'm just kidding. I did.
Right.
That was amazing.
Thank you. And then thank you, exactly. There's a reveal on the back of this, which I won't share right now, but that gets used in the show. So, and that was a funny image. So my big grand reveals are like, they've been in front of you the whole time. Again, could not possibly do that without having a camera angle where I can adjust it until it looks like there's a Rubik's Cube sitting on the table. Yeah. I think I got some of you, hopefully. Some people were like, didn't know.
That was amazing.
Thank you.
It's well done, my friend. Well done.
Thanks, George.
You got me, pal.
Great. So there's fun things like that I look forward to, and I'm excited in the show. And again, there's a bunch of other things you can.
But can it do card tricks?
I do. Oh yeah, I wanted to say I do an invisible deck in my corporate show, which is such a great. I haven't done an invisible deck since before the pandemic for years and years, and I think it's one of those old classic tricks that you forget is just the most impactful thing that you can do sometimes. And
it played like one of the strongest things in the show when I saw it. It was amazing.
It's great in this environment too. I mean, it's perfect.
Totally.
I was going to say, I've really embraced way more than I thought I ever would the idea of using gaff decks, but because the audience can't reach out and grab anything, and all you have to do for a deck switch is just like, if you're holding a pack of cards, just drop it out of frame and you've got a clean pack and you go into your next thing. So
It's awesome.
My favorite part about it and how I do it is covering it on a camera cut, but I do, is this gonna work? Oh God, this is set up for something else, but I'll do that first. This is the glory of doing your show out of order. You're like, everything's set up for a different thing.
You're just showing us all the elements. It's all cool.
Yeah, to go back to the hand camera, which I hope is working a little faster. Okay, we'll see. I have this, so it's the 5 of spades is my force card, and I think sometimes I post it on Instagram, or I have it, I won't say, but anyway, I'm going for the 5 of spades, and I need Alex, can you name any number between 1 and 52? Let's do a little, any card, any number.
12.
12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So this being the 12th card. And if you said 13, you'd have that. And if you said 11, you'd have that. And there's the 5 of spades, which is the 4th card. So
Great.
the fun, right. It's so great because I really like the, I guess, can I expose, I won't expose it, but I'll just.
You can. Look, just so you know, this is the proof that this is the first magic that needs a lecture notes of Zoom tricks. Because that right there is a clever thing. Traditionally, we have to use misdirection for that method.
Correct.
But you're using your little screen. I think you should express it to people. I think
I would love to. So
safe thing.
I have this, actually, when I do a show where there's cocktails involved as part of the show, and everybody gets a letter delivered to their house. And in the letter, we've coded the 5 of spades in the letter somehow. So I need to force that in a way that feels about as fair as this, pick a card. And so what I do is say stop. And the setup here, which you might be familiar with, is that I just have 4 face down cards on the bottom of the deck with the 5 of spades on top. Flip these over. Those come out of the box this way, so this looks totally fair. And whatever number they say, I'm counting down to it. And as I'm going, my hand is slowly coming behind my own face over here. And then once I get to their number, the timing is a bit funny, but what's happening behind my face is that on the offbeat. So boom, that gets flipped, and there is the card over there. But I'm using literally my screen to cover the action that's happening.
Such a dirty dog.
I know.
Whatever it takes.
So dirty. It's so dirty. Brother, that is a stone fooler. If you take a little heat, like a paperweight or something, and put it for you upstage right, point to upstage right. Downstage. Right.
What do you want?
Yeah, if you got a little paperweight over there, and then you just turn your whole body to grab the paperweight and stick it on the card for a moment during the buildup.
Right.
It won't even.
Oh, totally.
It's literally the most deceptive Zoom method I have ever seen for card trick.
Oh, thank you.
It's so sweet. Geez, I wish I could do it myself.
I know. You just find these things that are playing in the medium sometimes, because I was trying to think, how am I going to cover? I think before, I'll show you how I was doing it before if you don't have one of these little things, and it works in the webcam the best. Before I was doing this. I want to be very clear. I'm counting the cards down. This is all one shot. It's all one angle. And I was doing this thing, which is very stupid. You could have picked any one of these cards, but you didn't. You stopped at this card over here.
Also pretty great.
Yeah,
Totally.
cover your hand and flip the cards around,
Right.
and you have all the cover that you need in the world. So that's good. That's good stuff.
It's sensational.
Sure
That's
is.
worth the price of admission for me.
If this were library.com, there'd be 8 PDFs for $2 a piece with that exact trick.
It's just so, and then when I started playing around with the camera view on the table, I realized, why am I doing that when I have perfect cover, which is my own face right over there, wherever it is. So yeah, that, and then what was I gonna say? Oh, my invisible deck. So I'm doing it this way, where I start with the cards and I go, I'm gonna make my prediction here. I think it's gonna be this one. And I'm going to put it in the wrong way inside of the deck. And I'm going to cut the cards. I don't know exactly where it is. And we'll put them back inside of the box. Now I need somebody who's used a virtual deck before. If somebody can take this virtual deck and take it and shuffle and blah, blah. And then when we come back, I have my invisible deck set up now here. So this is just off screen. And I've also done it where, okay, it goes in, that's there. I need somebody to take this deck who can help me. Once somebody else comes up on stage and I go to the different view, I hand it over to them, and I'm just doing the switch off camera here. And then when we come back, I have my invisible deck. And
I like that right there.
Yeah.
That would really be killer.
Yeah, I do it in my show, so you'll be able to see the moment that it happens now. But it's the type of things where magicians watch the show and they can go, there it is, it's happening. We can't see it happening, which is, it's the medium. Why not do it? You know?
Why not?
Seamless. It's good.
Thank you.
Mark, we're going to have you on a club night and have you do a proper lecture on Zoom effects and methods. I think, ever since I've known you, you've always, I think, undersold yourself in terms of your actual magic creator stuff versus your performer energy. But I sort of think this Zoom thing has been a real blessing in disguise for you because, this last year, you're like the last guy I would ever know who would ever consent on purpose to do a Zoom show, because you're one of the guys I know that did the most live shows. So I know it's a real tough thing. But there's something about this Zoom format that I think has really unleashed a magic creator energy for you, which was latent, I think, and always wanted to be there. Because you've always done, you've had these viral videos that you've been doing for years. You're one of the only people I know who's had a legitimately viral video, largely comedy stuff. But I feel like, would you say that Zoom has really unlocked your magic creator potential in a way you didn't expect?
Yeah, I'm going to say it reluctantly because I wish I found it on stage, which is what I love to do. But you force somebody like that into a box who has to figure things out. And I just tinker with it a lot more. I don't know why that happened, but I just wanted to. I think maybe the stuff I do on stage feels different enough to me. I do invent things for stage that work for my persona. And I didn't want to do the same tricks that everyone was doing on Zoom, which forced me to say, what can I make happen? So I'd say that's true for sure.
I think you spent so much time thinking about composition and making video that once you're really forced into this magic space, it's just interesting to note how clever a lot of these ideas are and unexpected. I suspect you're just going to be coming up with crazier and crazier Instagram videos and things of that nature, because I think you've sort of cracked the code. I mean, Alex, it's really something, isn't it?
Yeah, I must admit I was thoroughly entertained for the entire show, man. I didn't know what to expect going into it, and it's just good, solid magic. And as a magician, I'm jaded going into it, like, oh, okay, he's going to do these tricks. But I watched my wife react, and she's sort of jaded too. But I watched the whole room react, like it was like a comedy club. Literally like how we do it here in CC, where the ones are just rolling in at all the right moments. All these people are doing that, and they have to restrain themselves from putting on their mic and yelling, that was great. And it's, it's wonderful, man. I'm so glad to see you like make this thing be a real thing and not have it be like, you never know when you go into this, like, what's a Zoom show going to look like? But it was a show. It was just a show. And it goes back to what Steve was saying. Lights and sound, you have all the transitions, you have all the beautiful video stuff that's happening, you're well lit, I can hear you, all the camera angles, it makes it all so interactive, and you're just on a ride, and it's a show. And kudos, brother. I just think it's awesome, and I love to watch you go.
And incidentally, we just have we're not gonna, we're streaming right now, we're sharing widely outside the club. We're not gonna be exposing the underwires of Mark's magic show right now, but that's kind of shorthand when we say we're going to invite you to come to a member night on the topic. That sort of means, on that evening, please wear a skirt and we can lift it up and look. It'll be
Oh my goodness.
So Mark, because we could talk about this all night long, let's shift to some of the admin stuff, because I know more than just about anyone I know, you started in show business as a professional entertainer, probably younger than just about anyone I know except Adam Amazing Grace himself. And you've always had a lot of professional work. So tell us, what's the primary stuff you'd want to share with us on that topic, given that we have, somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 to 10 minutes left?
Sure, yeah. I think the biggest thing to be able to sell a virtual show is to put a little bit of investment into the setup. I waited a long time to be able to do that. I think some people surpassed me at a certain point where I was looking, going, what am I doing wrong? And somebody had a question about a light that I just want to talk about. I think it's the most important part. I just have a ring light on top of my camera. It's a ring light you can get on Amazon for 40, 50 bucks, I think. And if you want to still use your webcam and not invest in a bunch of cameras, at least invest the $40, $50 in the ring light. That is like, you can see your face. It illuminates, it's important. Once the thing looked good, I went to all my old clients and got my email list together and sent them a whole thing with a little clip of video, which was my corporate real promotional video of virtual stuff. And mostly it's reactions of people. It is the grid view on Zoom of people going, which is what they want to see, that you can still entertain in this medium. The tricks, fine, I have the flash of wine bottle and okay, they know there's magic, but are my guests going to be entertained virtually? Then I sent that to all those clients. The ball kind of got rolling a bit. People went, oh, we hadn't thought about this before. And then I think in a large part, a help of all magicians doing this is clients and people having birthdays and things like that have realized that this actually does make sense. This is possible. This is a thing that is enjoyable and entertaining. And after that, I just treated it like my real live business. I went on, Google and cold called a bunch of places and said, aren't you bored? To be honest, this is the biggest thing I'll say. It's actually easier to sell a Zoom show because you say to them, you're all on Zoom all day anyway. Isn't that so boring? They're like, yeah, we just need some levity. You go, that's me. I can bring that to you. I can do magic. Okay, so book me. And for selling a ticketed show, I literally say it in my promotional video, which is 30 seconds long. I go, what else are you doing this weekend? Are you going out? Probably not. So stay in and watch this show. There's just a different way before that I couldn't do when I was performing live saying, do you want me to come into your office for no reason? It sounds fun, no? And they're like, please don't call here again. We're not a company, we're a bookstore. But you gotta be persistent. Yeah, so I'd say just, know that you still have value and just start reaching out and saying, here's what I can do and put up a little Zoom show for friends, get the reactions and start using that as a promo video.
Nice.
Absolutely fascinating. Why don't you, if you can, Alex, this is a great question. Maybe we can close on this. Would you ask Mark Garnett's question in the Q&A?
Okay. The late, great Mark Wilson introduced TV magic and had the rule that he would only perform with a live audience and promised there would be no camera tricks. Does Zoom magic run the risk of shaking this foundation? Wow. Wow.
It's an interesting question. He also wants to know if you wear makeup when you use this setup.
It seems like those rules are out the window, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think those rules have been out the window long before now.
Yeah, Chris Angel sort of broke all that, didn't he?
I mean,
I think the important part about that foundation, which foundation are we talking about? Okay, the important part about that foundation is that you just make them feel that way. Whether Mark Wilson was saying that and really doing that is besides the point. I still have to make them feel, I still have to say, there's a live audience. At this point, the camera will not cut away. I need to give them the feeling of magic that is not technologically induced, unless it's in a fun way, like that or that. But you can say whatever you want. When David Copperfield flies, he says, there's no wires, there's no magnets. Like, that's the point, is to tell them, look, you could be sitting here right now and you could be watching this in the same way. And that's, rather than doing that and actually lying to them, I guess, I just do the opposite. And I go, you couldn't be experiencing this like this if you were here. You can only experience it this way. And that feels special. So I think we kind of skirt the issue that way.
Sounds like you're saying that you got to sell the magic one way or another. You still have to sell the magic. Now, friends, I'm going to ask you to stick around for just a couple minutes. We're going to do a quick after show with Mark. For now, for all those of you watching us on the interwebs, I want to thank you so much for watching us today. On behalf of Conjuror Community Club, do us a favor, click that fantabulous follow button and that salacious subscribe button, and you'll be notified the next time we go live, which will be in just a couple days. If you're here with us live, don't go anywhere. To the rest of us, we'll see you real soon.